Hey everyone, what's up? It's Chelsea Van Buskirk with the Heart AF podcast. Hope you guys are all doing well. So I had a situation that prompted an idea for a podcast episode, so here we go. I went off on somebody in the heat of the moment while I was angry, and I sent an email. And I'm notorious at sending emails because I tend to get my thoughts out better in writing versus speaking, because when I speak in the moment, it's probably a lot worse. Actually, you know what? Honestly, the email that I wrote was speech to text, so it was speaking, which is probably why it was so bad. And the thing of it is, I was in the heat of the moment, right? Emotions were at that high level. You know, logical reasoning was not a part of any of what I was saying. I was fueled by emotional anger and hit the send button. Why? I don't know. I'm still mad at myself for hitting send because I shouldn't have. It was not my best moment, right? But it happens. I'm human, right? We all have moments that we do things in the heat of the moment, right? When our emotions are high, we might make mistakes, or we might say things that we don't really mean. We might hurt feelings. Anyway, what I did, I immediately regretted it. And especially as I started cooling down, that, logical reasoning part of my brain started, being activated. And I'm like, wow, I really should not have said all the things I said. I needed to be more logical about how I was responding, instead of responding straight in that emotional high point where I wasn't really thinking so clearly, right? So I went back and read what I wrote, and I'm like, oh, is there a way to unsend it? And there is a way to unsend your shit, by the way, but you have to do it very quickly. You have 5 seconds on a mobile device, and I think you have up to 30 seconds on your computer. So just a little tidbit with Gmail, there is a settings feature in your Gmail or your Google settings where you can delay that to give yourself a little bit more time. I think that, I can't remember, but definitely on your cell phone, you only have 5 seconds. So you better know what you're going to say and then make sure you really want to send it when you hit send on your mobile device. But on the computer, you have a little time. Most of the time, if you do use Gmail, it'll pop up and say message sent, and there's a little button where you can hit undo. So I guess the time frame, you can set that to be a little bit longer. I don't know what the maximum amount of time, it's not a lot, but you can maximize it in your settings. So new information in case you didn't know that fact. Might want to give yourself as much time as possible just in case you run into a situation like me. But for me, I didn't really get to the logical part of maybe I shouldn't have sent that till it was at least 15 minutes past, and then there was nothing I could do. It was out there, it was done. It had been done. The deed had been done, it had been carried out. So after I realized I couldn't really undo it, I was like, shoot. So actually I didn't say shoot. I don't say shoot, I say shit. So I said, shit, well, what am I gonna do? So I apologized. I reached out to the person I sent the email, and I said, look, I wrote that email in the heat of the moment. I really shouldn't have sent it. It was something that I was just getting everything out that I was feeling in that moment, and I should not have sent that. That was not, professional or respectful, whatever. I don't remember what I said, but I apologize. I owned up to it, said sorry, shouldn't have handled things that way. And here's the thing. We're all human. We all make mistakes. It's part of life. But we can sometimes get so hard on ourselves and be really angry at ourselves and let that bring us down and start dragging us into this downward spiral of, self-pity. I'm a failure. Why do I do things this way? I'm always messing up. I never get it right. I'm always such an angry person. I'm never going to change. We can get in this mind fuck of just really berating ourselves. We really are our own worst critics, right? Our self-talk is our worst. We are our own worst enemy, right? It's those thoughts in our head and what we tell ourselves. And so it's a slippery slope where we just kind of lay into ourselves, right? The hardest person to forgive is ourselves. I did that episode, No Apologies, a few weeks back, which was more about when somebody's wronged you and you don't get the apology you deserve, right? And how you can kind of get closure and move on from that. You got to do the same thing with yourself, but you got to forgive yourself, right? You do have the power to forgive yourself. So that's what this episode is about. It's about learning to forgive yourself. So if you mess up, if you cause somebody pain, you're in the wrong. You act, irrationally in the heat of the moment, right? It's okay. You're human. It's normal. Everybody does it. Nobody's perfect, right? We all have our flaws. We all make mistakes. Apologize if you need to apologize. Own up, own it, own what you did. And no, that doesn't make you a horrible person just because you make a mistake or you did one thing. Maybe you did multiple things where you messed up. It doesn't mean you're a horrible person, okay? You own up to it and you move on, right? That's the trick, is moving on, letting go. Don't let whatever you do or did drag you down or keep you stuck and immobilized and just suck you into that downward spiral where you're, falling into that negative self-talk and falling into those lower vibrational feelings. And when you're in that lower vibrational state, guess what? You're attracting lower vibrational opportunities to come towards you, right? Like it's a suction, right? Like it's energy attraction, right? Like when you get sucked into that low vibrational state, like that's what you're going to be attracting back into your life. You need to stop it right there and start circling back up, right? I have this really great image. I'll share it with you guys. I made it for my book. Essentially, you have the highest rungs, these wide highest rungs right here, the higher vibrational thoughts and feelings and experiences, right? And at that high vibe level, that's what you're going to attract. But you start going down these lower rungs and you start having these like lower vibrational feelings and thoughts. And then you kind of it spirals down into this middle, and then it starts getting bigger and bigger to where you're having like anger, jealousy, right? Like low self-worth. That's all here, but you can't see, vibrating at these lower energies down here. And you want to keep rising back up. You want to rise yourself back up and go up that spiral to where you can start vibrating up here, right? And so it really becomes where you have to forgive yourself and move on. You cannot be stuck. You cannot stay stuck. And the thing is like, you don't grow without mistakes. You can't reach success. You can't get any better than where you're at right now unless you make mistakes. Sometimes we're so afraid of failure that we just stop and we stop trying. We just stay stuck and wherever we're at, and we don't grow and thrive and experience success in the things we want to do because we keep ourselves stuck. And sometimes I think it has to do with like guilt or not feeling like we're good enough because we've made mistakes or whatever. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Everybody makes mistakes. No one's perfect. It's about learning where you made that mistake and how you can improve and how you can do better. And you're not going to know how to do better until you mess up, right? Like every experience we go through is an opportunity to learn and grow from, right? Each time that we fail, we learn something. We either learn what not to do, right? Or we learn how to try something different. We learn how maybe that's not the person we want to be, right? Each day is a new opportunity. You don't need to wait for a new Monday. You don't need to wait for a new year. You don't need to wait for a new month, right? I've talked about that in a recent post too. All you need is one new moment to change your mind. Like you can change your mind and change your thought patterns in any instant you choose. You get to decide when it's like enough is enough and you're ready to grow and ready to move on. Because once you start learning and when you know better, you get to do better, right? So like honestly, like whether it's, business, whether it's your health, whether it's just your self-development, your self-growth, like it's okay to fail. It's okay to mess up because that's how you learn. And like I talked about last week, you only fail when you give up, right? When you stop altogether, when you keep yourself stuck, when you decide to give up, like keep going, own it and let it go, right? Apologize, do whatever you need to do, like own the situation. Don't try to run away from the mistakes you've made, right? Like it's okay. It's okay. Own up to what you did, own up to whatever it is, and then move on from it, right? It's in the past. You don't have to don't look in the rearview mirror, like, right? You don't need to keep looking towards your past. You need to look forward. If you're focused on the past, you're never going to move forward. It's going to keep you back, right? It's going to keep you stuck in these moments, like always worried about what happened, what I could have done, what I should have done, all right? And you really have to work hard to get your mind focused on what's coming forward, right? What's in the present moment? What can I do now? You can't change the past. It's happened, it's done. Move on. You can change the future, right? You can change the future by what you decide to do in this moment. And so I really am asking you guys to forgive yourself. Allow yourself grace. Allow yourself the opportunity to grow and learn from each new experience. Like, go for it. Okay? Like, it's scary to change and to go after your dreams, right? And we can be so afraid of failing or feeling like we don't deserve success or feeling like whatever. But like I've said before, any desire you have in your heart was placed in your heart for a reason, right? Like the desires, the dreams you have, that's not a mistake. It's meant for you. It's already here, and you really have to believe that, and you have to keep that forward focus and know it's okay that if you fall down, right? But you get back up and you keep going. We just celebrated Martin Luther King Day recently. One of his famous quotes is, I'm going to paraphrase it, but if you can't run, walk. And if you can't walk, crawl, right? But you just keep moving, right? And I don't care if you're barely scooting along, like you don't have the energy because you've been knocked down so many times. I don't care if you're army crawling and barely slithering on the ground, like keep moving. You don't stop, right? And you just do just enough, like just until you can keep going, until you get stronger and get better. Pick yourself up to start crawling, and then you're crawling, and then you're going to get stronger, and then finally be able to feel like you're good enough to stand up and start walking, and then you're slowly walking until soon enough you'll be running, right? Like, it takes time. We got to have patience. That's the other thing, is we're always so wanting things right now. And I can give you a great example of my health and fitness journey, right? I've been sharing that with you guys, right? That's something I'm very vulnerable about, is this weight loss I'm going on, right? Like, I have 20 pounds I'm trying to lose, right? Like, that big number sounds really big and scary to me. Now, that might not sound big and scary to some people, but for me it is. Okay? It's challenging because I want to see that scale move, and it's not moving very fast, and that's frustrating. And, I'm doing my best to stay within like my goals of, what I'm trying to aim for nutritionally, like staying within the nutritional parameters I have for myself that I'm working on with my coach. Like, I'm not eliminating anything in my diet, but I'm shooting to reach, certain grams of protein each day. And that's kind of my main focus right now, is just staying in kind of a calorie range and hitting those protein goals, right? Because I'm trying to build back up my lean muscle mass. And it's hard, right? I gotta show up every day to myself, and it's hard. And there was a day, maybe two, where I went over. Like, my weakness is I have a sweet tooth, and I might have eaten a half a pan of brownies. I did. I mean, I had a weak moment and I couldn't stop, and I overate, and I felt like shit afterwards, right? Like, my stomach hurt afterwards. I was like, why did I do that? But they tasted so good, and like, blah, blah, blah. But then of course, then the guilt sets in, right? Because, I just messed up. I went over, I was over my calorie goal for that day because of the brownie incident. But I knew logically, like, it didn't matter in the scheme of things as long as I kept going, right? I show up the next day and I keep, doing as best I can to stay within my allotted, bank of calories for the day, and still working at trying to get the nutrients my body needs, right? To fuel my body correctly so that I can lift the weights I want to lift and make sure I'm like growing the muscle that I want to grow, right? To get my body shape to change. And I didn't give up. But it was still frustrating, right? I still was mad at myself. I still cursed myself. And, part of the program I'm on is I am weighing myself every day, but there's intention with that. It's not to be obsessed with the scale. It's just data tracking, right? And the thing is, it's desensitizing me to the scale because it changes and it's going to go up and down. And every good, nutrition or fitness coach should tell you this, that weight loss is not linear, right? It's not a straight line that just shows you going down. It goes like this. It looks like a heart rate monitor. It's going to spike up and it's going to wiggle up and down. But the thing is, you'll start to see a gradual trend downward. If your body's responding, you'll see a gradual slope, downwards of, weight loss, if that's the goal, right? But it's not going to be linear, right? Like, you're not going to have points that make a perfect line. It's going to be like this. And so my weight is like that. And, it is kind of disheartening a little bit when I've been on track 100% and I get up and the scale goes up. That sucks, right? Like, that's a mind fuck. And you're like, well, shit, it's not working, but I'm like working so hard. Like, why is it not showing? But I know And, that's the purpose of having that coach, to kind of be that motivator and help you stay accountable and letting you know to keep going and trust the process, right? Because it is going to fluctuate and it is going to, it will be disheartening to see the scale go up. But I have that faith with my coach and with myself, just with the experience, because I know it is logical. Like, I know what to do, right? Like, I've done bodybuilding. I've won first place in bodybuilding shows. I know what to do to change my physique, but it's just doing it in a sustainable way, one, which is different. And also just having that accountability and encouragement to keep going and to like keep me accountable and in line with what is really important to me, which is, to feel good in my clothes and to be fueling my body with nutrients that it can use and like help it, grow in the ways it needs to grow, and just being healthy. Anyway, so it's really helpful to have that coach, but yeah, it's disheartening when you see the scale go up. But again, it's like just staying the course, right? And just staying day after day, showing up, staying consistent. Every day is not going to be 100% perfect. It's not. I just told you I ate like half a pan of brownies, right? Like, that's not staying 100% on track, right? But it's mostly on track, right? And it's staying consistent. And it's when I have the bad days where I ate that I got back up the next day and still kept going and working towards my goals. I didn't give up. I didn't go and slash all 3 of my tires, right? Because the one got the flat, like that analogy I used before, right? Like, you get a flat tire, you don't go puncture holes and get flat tires in all 3 of your other tires, right? You just fix the one flat and you keep going. So it's the same thing. You keep going, you pick yourself back up. I owned it. I owned it. I ate a bunch of brownies, right? I own that, and now I'm going to move on. So it's the same concept, whether, again, it's like in the business world or goals that way, like, like if you miss something, okay, great, you missed it. You said something messed up, right? Okay, I'm sorry, I said that out of, I was too emotional. I shouldn't have said that. That was wrong. I'm sorry. And you move on, right? In your relationships, right? Conflict happens all the time in relationships. Do people, maybe some people, I was about to say, do people just get divorced over one fight? Maybe some people do, but no, theoretically, no, that doesn't usually happen, right? Like, there are little conflicts that might happen over time that kill the relationship, right? But it's, you keep trying, right? You don't let one little thing mess up something really great, right? You find a way to own up to whatever you did, to communicate and move on, right? So that's what I really wanted to get at, was giving yourself grace, making sure you apologize, and then forgive yourself, right? It's forgiveness, right? Forgiveness is really hard, whether you're forgiving somebody that wronged you, who didn't even give you an apology, but I think it's even harder sometimes to forgive ourselves. So I really am asking you, if there's anything that you're holding on to about yourself, that you're beating yourself up about, something that maybe happened in your past, or it happened last week, or it happened this morning, move on, forgive yourself, and move on. How can you move forward from this, right? That's what it's all about. It's about learning what you need to learn and moving on and growing. And once you grow, once you learn better, you do better. And it's a way for you to pick yourself back up and keep climbing those rungs of energy, right? Like, to just vibe high and attract higher vibrational opportunities back to you, right? You don't need to sulk, and you don't need to go that downward spiral. That helps no one, okay? Like, another thing I guess I really want to say is that, you guys are never alone, okay? You're never alone. You're not. Like, there is a whole other plane of existence of people waiting for you to call on them. You've got angels and guides. Like, they're there. You just have to ask. You just have to ask for that help. And they're waiting. They're there for you to help guide you and help you feel supported, like in your moments of weakness. If you're feeling weak and you need some just help, ask for it. And then don't be surprised when a miracle shows up for you, right? Actually, on that point, I actually do have a little miracle story that I can share with you. Before I went to bed, one of the nights earlier this week, I asked my dad to visit me. And I went to bed, and it was one of the dreams right before I woke up, and he was there. He was there, and he was walking, and he danced, and he was wearing his Letterman jacket, which is what he actually asked to be buried in. So it was wonderful, and it was just so amazing to see him show up for me like that. And it was one of those things where I think he knew that I was ready and okay to have him show up and visit me in that context, right? And it was really magical, and it was really good to see him. And I think it was also awesome that he showed me himself walking, right? Like he was walking and he was dancing. And so that was really cool. That was really amazing to see. So, I mean, I share that because that was, and to me, it was somewhat of a miracle, right? And it just goes to show you, like, you just have to ask and then be open to receiving, and just don't be surprised when stuff shows up like that for you, you know, in whatever context it is, you know, it happens. I mean, it would happen in my real estate career too. Like, you know, things happen, miracles happen, and you just really, again, have to ask for it and be open to receiving it. I mean, same thing, like manifesting, all that stuff that I've talked about before, like it's real, it's here. You just have to believe it. When you believe it, you'll see it. And, you know, when you welcome it, it'll come to you, it'll arrive. So yeah, so that's a lot. I feel like I'll keep going. So I should probably just wrap it up. But I hope you guys are doing well, right? You know, life is hard, right? And it's all about just moving forward and what you can do, what you can learn, and what you can grow from each experience that you have, you know? So please let me know. I would love to hear from you. I love so much when I get messages back from people who've listened to the podcast. It means the world to me. So please never hesitate. Send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram. My handle is @chelsea.vanbuskirk. Let me know if there's something that you needed to let go or forgive yourself for, right? Let me know. You don't have to tell me what it is if you don't want to, but just, I want to know if that was something that was helpful for you to know, to realize that you needed to let go and forgive yourself for something so that you can move on and move forward and start raising yourself back up, right? Right? You don't have to run, just crawl for now. It's fine. Just keep moving forward. Learn something, right? Grow. It's okay. So let me know. I hope all is well. You can find me on the website at chelseavanbuskirk.com. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.